Good morning. It's a beautiful Sunday morning. Well, not really. It's been raining or misting most of the night. You're in my garden, and this is ginger mint. Lovely variegated leaves to it. You pick the leaves and put them in tea. Next to it is my ground cover of sweet woodruff, and that'll flower in very, very tiny white flowers. Next we have some purple hosta flowers. Hostas are a favorite with cutter bees. There's some more of my hostas up against the shed. And the cutter bees chew them up and they surround their eggs with them. And the eggs can actually have a little bit of food when they chew out and become larvae. This is the very back of the garden, and in the very back, up against my neighbor's fence, I have a huge butterfly bush. Next to it on the right is a hydrangea, but not your average kind, it's a climbing one. And I've got some red penstemon in there. And the other side of the garden, as we walk through, we have blue hydrangea, roses, wild daisies, and towards the back you can just barely see the pink princess spirea up against the fence. And there's also a red currant in there and some ferns that come up naturally. This is looking back towards my butterfly bush and some roses. Those are a pink tea rose. And the butterfly bush right now is absolutely gorgeous. I wish it showed up better in the slides, and this is going back towards the front, and this is my lavatera, and it is covered in bees this morning. So I spent quite a bit of time taking some bee photos. They were very, very busy. There were about a dozen of them out. And as you can see, on the flowers, you can actually see the water from the rain last night. Well, those are raindrops. And they're very busy gathering their pollen, taking it back to their nests. And I have a bunch of different kinds of bees. But I just love how the drops on the flowers are. This one's doing kind of a little acrobatic act. I have a Canon power shot, and it can even get the furriness of their yellow fur on the back of them. And right down to the veins in the flowers. Quite a shot. I am always amazed at this camera. It's one that is super easy to use. It self-adjusts, automatic settings, and it has the most powerful zoom. As you can see, it definitely takes a good picture. And I found all sorts of little friends in my garden this morning. Bees. No butterflies, but I found some birds and some bees. And coming up farther down, you'll see a little surprise that I got. He is just covered in pollen. He's going to take a lot back to his nest. I have a large bumblebee nest that's been here for about 10 years, and it's actually out on the walkway to the mailbox. We live on a dead-end street, and it's county maintained. No, it's maintained by me. This is an absolutely gorgeous addition to any yard. You can see a spider there too. This is a bronze nine bark, and it flowers beautifully in the spring. And then all summer long you get this gorgeous brown, bronze, and red leaf to your garden. So if anybody, it's probably my favorite shrub, simply because of the variety of colors. You get everything from orange to browns to bronze and greens. It's just a splendid thing to have in your yard. And it's a bronze nine bark. And there it is. I am constantly clipping it down so that I can sit on the patio and look over to the pond. And so it's constantly getting new leaves. This is a phlox getting ready to bloom. This is on the right-hand side of the main path going to the fountain. And as you can see, there's quite a few that are getting ready to bloom. So as my other phlox on the other side of the path die down, those will take over. And this, I think, is a little goldfinch fledgling, it looks like. And he's sitting right there on the left-hand side. And that's just my sedum that's blooming along the pond's rocks there. And that is a volunteer in the area, and I transplanted it when I did the pond and shoved it into the little rocks and everything came up. This is a rock rose. And these are some more penstemon and daylilies and a hellebore and a hosta. Looking back at the pond. And those on the fence are bindweed or wild morning glory. And they'll strangle everything in your yard. So if you're going to have them, beware. But I'm constantly pulling them up. And any of you guys are a Doctor Who fan of the angels, this is a baby angel called a peekaboo angel. And there's my phlox, the ones that are blooming now. And this little guy was an absolute delightful surprise this morning. I don't normally have chipmunks here. The squirrels overtake everything. But this guy showed up this morning, and he was just wandering through the garden as I was. So I hope he stays. And it looked to me like he was eating the rose petals. Probably a sweet little treat for him. Now this is outside in the front. And I have the sedum also growing out here that is flowering yellow. And this is a park I created across the street. As I said, we live on a dead-end street and there's nothing happening.